This episode of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast was recorded on March 2nd, 2022. So if there's any news that we missed in this episode, then we're very sorry about that. Also, there is a slight trigger warning for every one of the episodes that there may be some slightly mild language used. And if that's going to trigger anyone, please watch the video with caution. Other than that, enjoy the episode.
Welcome back to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. My name is Tristan Grider. We have a great show for you guys today. Going to talk all about Auto Club. Going to talk all about St. Pete. Then we're going to go into a bunch of news, stuff about SRX, stuff about F1, NASCAR. It's a really exciting show today. How are we doing today? Let's introduce my co-host, Justin Cox, Daniel Chaney. How are we doing today, boys?
I'm doing phenomenal. Little exhausted, but that's fine. We're doing this now, so I'm energized. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, a little tired, but we're gonna get through it. I got enough energy to get through it today. Really excited. Yeah,
it's going to be a great episode. Very exciting weekend of autosports action. I feel like it felt like we were back with Daytona. It officially feels like we're back since we had St. Pete. And
honestly,
now all we need is F1 to start back up, and my life will be complete.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into some Motorsport Media, guys.
All right, guys, we're going to start off with some Motorsports Media, and so I'm going to start with some NASCAR news. So first off, the 38 car of Todd Gilliland, they're going to have 4 crew members ejected for a tire malfunction. So is this just one race?
So this happened this previous weekend at Fontana. Pit stop led to their tire literally just falling off the car, and so they're gonna get the same penalty that Casgrella and the Money Team Racing got, which is that 4-race penalty for 4 crew members.
Gotcha.
So it's a pretty hefty penalty.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
You good?
Yeah. And then second bit of NASCAR news. So Greg Biffle and NY Racing are going to qualify for Las Vegas, and they've officially kind of established that instead of just being a Daytona one-off team, they're going to try and be like an official part-time team throughout this season. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Like, they weren't that bad at Daytona, I didn't think. I
just ran into some problems with the car itself, but running extremely well in the duels, I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
those paint schemes are beautiful.
Honestly, they're
super beautiful.
So simplistic, but so well thought out. You know what I'm saying?
It's cool seeing those HBCU colleges on the cars, and I'm definitely gonna buy if Lionel releases some, which I hope they do.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna buy that. That diecast.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see the Biff run a few more races. I don't know how many they're going to do quite yet. I don't know if they've established this, but they are going to try to attempt more than just Daytona, which I think is a good call. And then our last bit of NASCAR news is that conversations are really heating up. They are trying to have more conversations with the city of Chicago to have a street course race in the city of Chicago. I think that would be massive if they would be able to do that. Like, if we thought IndyCar, like, having a street course race in Nashville was big, because they treated that like a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But NASCAR, which is probably the most popular motorsport in the United States, I would say. I mean, F1 is definitely rising, but NASCAR's pretty much had that
It's
spot.
still NASCAR.
Yeah, it's gonna be NASCAR.
So I think especially, like, kind of going to Chicago where it's not really a NASCAR-dominated area, or just a racing-dominated area, it'll be an interesting experiment, and I'm excited to see what would happen with that if plans do end up going through with that.
Yeah, which I really like, because instead of going to Chicagoland, which is like an hour and 30 minutes away, you're bringing it straight to the people. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if they go to Chicago in the street course, you damn know the Indy Boys are gonna go, because that is dude, Cup cars on a street course. I mean, that would be dope. I'm pretty sure they ran the Chicago street course in the Pro Invitational, didn't they? In iRacing. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Byron won that. But
I mean, it is iRacing. It probably was Byron.
Yeah.
True.
All right, moving over to F1 now. With all the drama happening in the real world, it appears that F1 will not be racing in Russia or Sochi this year. It's getting replaced for the Turkish GP is what I've read. And I'm not sure if that's 100% confirmed. It might be now, but when it first came out, from what the news I have written down, I haven't seen much since. But I know Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen had been really outspoken on the issues and stuff that have been happening politically and whatever you wanna call it, basically. But yeah. So F1 will not be racing in Russia. And testing had been in Barcelona the last couple of weeks last weekend, and it was last week sometime, I don't remember. But testing was last week, and there was a bunch of engine gearbox problems with the car's porpoising, and that means the car is like basically bouncing the rear end off the ground. We've seen it a lot in the NASCAR race at Auto Club the other day too. But that's just an aerodynamic feature, and I'm sure the teams will get it worked out before the season. And yeah, so moving on to the next part of what I have to say about Haas. I want to get the rest of this out of the way before I get into my final thing. Haas is expected to sever ties with Nikita Mazepin, which sucks because I'm not the biggest fan of Nikita Mazepin, and I don't want anybody to take it this way, but it sucks just because of everything that's happening in the world now. It kind of just seems like he's getting shoved out in a way because
like out of his control.
Yeah, it's out of his control basically. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel sorry for him. He got his chance to be an F1. Yeah, I don't have much to say on it. Like, cause you can't really say much, so yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Now my final thing: Andretti confirms they have reached a formal agreement with Renault to supply their F1 engines for when they become an F1 team. So, it kind of seems that this Andretti deal is coming to life now. Know what I'm saying? I'm
Kinda
ready.
Seems like it'll be next season.
At this point,
I mean,
it seems
they've
like
they've already said who's going to be one of the two drivers. They've confirmed that Herta will be the driver.
Yeah, of course. And I hope if they do bring anybody else over, it's going to be Pato.
Yeah, I could see that. I see that.
I think that would be pretty cool.
I mean, because you have to have, because Wickens is about to be back in IndyCar, and there's going to be a seat that opens up, and getting that seat back at McLaren would probably be the best thing for him.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, if Herta goes to when Herta goes to F1 and if Pato goes to F1, two very championship-winning cars that are open. It'd be interesting to see who gets that Andretti spot, and it'd be interesting to see who gets that McLaren spot.
And another like interesting like portion of that is, so like basically everything's put in place for them to be a team. Like if they wanted to, could have a team like right now set up.
Yeah.
Like they've got all the pieces in place, but they just have to wait for like the FIA approval. And I think the FIA is scared because they already have so much money like invested, and like they could come out and compete. Yeah. I don't know if they would necessarily win the championship year one, but they could be a top
decent
3, top 4 team. Like they've got the resources, they've got the sponsorships, they've got the drivers. I mean, like even without like a confirmed second driver, I think Herta already, given the right seat, could contend. Like they've got everything in place, and like Mario Andretti, like even like basically came out and said like the reason he tweeted it was he was just like there's not much else I can like say, like it's not up in my hands anymore, like we have everything in place, it's really just waiting on the approval. So I think like Mario Andretti's kind of did it. I think he did it to kind of scare the FIA, be like, listen, people know it's gonna happen, just let it happen.
Yeah, he pushed their card basically, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. I think it'd be interesting seeing Herta and Verstappen go up against each other because those are two drivers with very similar driving styles.
Right.
So if they do come in, I hope that they're on the level of Red Bull because I would love to see the competition between Herta and Verstappen. So
and plus, that Andretti merch is going to be
top tier, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And plus, Verstappen just signed his extension.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, you kind of get an extension when you win the championship. So
well,
Yeah,
yeah, but
you're-
like
you're-
that man got so much money. It's like 5 years.
he got the max.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like 20 mil a year.
That
Like,
makes
I
sense.
don't even remember. I did see that. I don't know why I didn't cover it, but oh well. But yeah, no, he got a lot of money.
I mean,
Let's
he
just say
deserves
that.
it. Yeah, like
Won
Yeah,
the championship.
yeah. So, but all right,
championship.
you can take it
I'm
over
kidding.
now, Tristan.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right,
He said
I like
that-
Chris
championship.
That was NASCAR and F1 news. So we got a lot of SRX news. If you have not been following SRX on social media, I highly recommend giving them a follow because they have been dropping announcements daily. So SRX has announced part of their official lineup for the 2022 season. There are some faces that have not been revealed yet. They have confirmed that, but it does look like that Bill Elliott and Willie T. Ribbs will not be returning to SRX this season. So that kind of sucks, but it's okay. I understand. Bill Elliott wasn't ever really except unless it was at Nashville, wasn't super competitive, and Willie T. Ribbs just was
Wasn't
never
competitive.
He was not
Yeah.
competitive at all.
Oh well, I get
But,
to say I got to watch Willie T. Ribbs race in my lifetime. So
Bro, we
True.
did.
That is
Yeah.
fair.
It was a dope race.
for real.
So I'm gonna go through the NASCAR drivers that are going to be returning to SRX and the IndyCar drivers that are going to be returning. So NASCAR returning drivers. Tony Stewart, obviously the defending champion, co-creator of the series, is going to return. Greg Biffle, who ran part-time, is going to be running full-time. So I think that's kind of cool. Bobby Labonte and Michael Waltrip are back full-time. And Haley Deegan is going to run 2 races. So she ran 3 last season. She's going to do 2 this season. So there you go.
Nice.
Pretty cool for Deegan. IndyCar drivers that are going to be returning. Elio Castro Neves. I'm pretty sure this is part-time. So because obviously you run an IndyCar, so
Yeah.
full-time this season. So Elio is probably going to be part-time. Paul Tracy's back full-time. Tony Kanaan is full-time this year, so that's super cool for TK. Marco Andretti is back for full-time, and Ernie Francis Jr., who I guess I can now refer to as an IndyCar driver, is
IndyCar affiliated driver.
IndyCar affiliated driver is going to be part-time this season. So sucks that we won't get to see EFJ go for the title again this season, but part-time is still pretty good for him. I wonder if he'll drive the 99, but I guess we'll see. Now we have some new drivers that are going to be in SRX. The NASCAR drivers, this was expected, but it was confirmed that Ryan Newman will be running full-time in the SRX this season in the 39 car. That is super exciting, as I am a big Ryan Newman fan, and seeing as he was kind of pushed out of the Cup Series, it makes sense that he goes to run for his former boss
Yeah.
in the SRX Series. Obviously, Newman and Stewart have always had a great relationship, so growing up literally in the same state. So really cool to get to see Newman back in the 39, which I'm super excited about. And Matt Kenseth is going to be running 3 races. I know a lot of people are excited about Matt Kenseth as he is a fan favorite, and it's going to be really cool to see that yellow 17 back on the track.
Oh,
So
definitely.
super excited for Matt Kenseth to be in an SRX car. I think it's going to be dope. Then IndyCar, Joseph Newgarden is going to be part-time. He's going to run 1 race at Nashville. So super exciting for Newgarden fans. And then Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to be full-time in SRX this season. That's kind of dope because, I mean, Captain America obviously got kicked out of his ride at Andretti. No one signed him this year. So, I mean, kind of like Newman, going to go run full-time in a different series. And obviously seeing that Marco had a lot of success in SRX, I'm sure that Ryan Hunter-Reay would want to go over there and drive too.
Yeah, and then there's one more driver that they haven't formally announced, but they have teased. So I don't know if he'll be full-time or just part-time or like a one-off. But they have teased Robert Wickens.
They have
coming
teased
into
Robert
SRX.
Wickens.
Oh, I did see that because he was talking to the SRX guy. At where was that over the weekend?
I think they were on Twitter. I just saw
Is
it
it
on
at St.
Twitter.
Pete?
Yeah, it was at St. Pete. Yeah,
But,
Yeah, so
that'd be cool.
that
That'd be really
cool.
cool to
it
get
has
to
been
see Robert Wickens back in the
teased.
car.
They have explored the. They have talked about exploring the option of having that happen I don't know if it will. I don't know
I
how
don't
long
think
it'll
he'd be
be.
full time. I think he'd be
Yeah,
a one-off or maybe 2 races. I don't see
Yeah.
Wiggins running a
right.
full season. Even with how safe those SRX cars are, I don't see that
Mhm.
really being a full-time thing. But yeah, a lot of driver announcements, and it's cool because before this week we only knew one driver that was going to be running in the series, and it was only Ernie Francis Jr. And so getting to see all these guys and girls returning to this series, it's going to be exciting. And that plus we still don't know about who the hometown hero drivers are going to be. We don't
Yeah.
know about who like if Scott Speed's going to come back and run like a one-off like he did at IRP. We could see literally all kinds of drivers going to SRX, and the field's going to be bigger this season.
Mhm.
It's going to be dope.
It's gonna
And
be
I
dope.
think that I think Tony and Ray are going to try to get this to be a 20-car field, which would be dope. Because, I mean, last season you only had a 12-car field out there. And while the racing was incredible, more cars is always better.
Yeah.
So just that makes sense why they're not going to Slinger now, because you can't fit 20 cars. But yeah,
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, that is Motorsport Media. Now let's go into that was the news section of Motorsport Media. Now let's go into our recaps, the race reviews from this weekend. So, guess we could start with Fontana. I was always someone that used to dread Auto Club. I'm not gonna lie. Every time we would go to Auto Club, I used to not love it. I used to think it was boring. Yes, I know, but that was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you.
Then when I started to get older, I was like, wow, Auto Club has some of the coolest racing ever.
Mm.
And then when they made the announcement that they were gonna turn Auto Club into a short track, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of crushed because that 2020 race was incredible,
Mhm.
and Bowman took it home in 2020. And when they announced that, I was like, wow, the Bowman curse continues. And so. But I was really heartbreaking that they were going to turn it into a short track. And now that those short track rumors are pretty much nullified and they're not going to be doing that anymore, we saw an incredible race at Fontana. Regardless of any controversy that happened during the race, the racing at Fontana was the best racing at Fontana I have seen probably ever. It was incredible racing.
Since the year Joey and Denny were battling there at the end of the race. That's
For real.
probably the last time I've seen racing like that. At least all race. Like, I loved this race. And
it's not just the fact that the racing was good. These cars
amazing.
are amazing, immaculate, perfect. Not perfect.
Yeah. I was about to say,
I was gonna say, there's one glaring issue.
They still got to figure out the flat tire thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, NASCAR is not going to be like, oh, they're going to lose 4 laps, as we saw with Chastain and Bell. Like, there's really no point of finishing the race, right? And
yeah,
so, like,
at that point.
And just because they spun out, like, you should not lose 4 laps for
Yeah.
spinning out. Anyway, but this race was super dope. Quick little review. Tyler Reddick dominated this race. And by dominated, I mean he led pretty much the entire race, winning both stage 1 and stage 2. And then right when Daniel turned on his TV, he immediately blew a tire.
I was unable to watch most of the race. I was busy. I was doing homework. I just wasn't able to. I go get food. I'm watching it on my phone. So, like, I was watching it, but I wasn't, like, watching it in good quality. I finally get back to my room, sit my stuff down, turn on the TV. Within 30 seconds, he blows a tire.
Yeah.
And I literally looked at my roommate, and I was like, I can't have nice things, can I? Like,
because I remember you said, I'm turning on the TV now. I was like, bro, why did you turn it on? He blew a tire and spun. I was like,
just every bit of hope I had just deflated out of my body when I clicked on.
The thing that sucks, though, about it is that Tyler was probably going to get back to pit road and would have only lost 1 lap. But William Byron decided that he was going to run the high lane and ran into him.
I don't even think it was that. I think Byron was coming from the inside up out of the corner, and I'm pretty sure because the A post on the right side was right there. For a grand majority of the corner, he couldn't see him, and he got loose coming out of the corner and smacked him.
I don't think it was as much of a driver error as it was just a getting loose.
I don't know. just thought it was a little interesting.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what happened with it either.
Because Reddick and Byron had the two fastest cars all weekend.
Right.
And to see the first place and the third place driver get taken out just like that, pretty much handed the win. Pretty much handed the win to Kyle Larson. And obviously, as I just said, Kyle Larson takes home the win at Fontana. A great finish. I was jumping up and down when everyone's favorite Danny Suarez, when Daniel Suarez took the lead with 3 laps to go, but obviously doesn't have a whole lot of experience leading. Took it home 4th. Austin Dillon took it home 2nd, and Eric Jones, who was probably, I'd say, a top 3 car all weekend, took it home 3rd. Really cool for that Petty GMS Racing Chevrolet. Literally, I could see Eric Jones sneaking into the playoffs this season.
Man, we said it. We
said
it.
I called it at the beginning of the season. I said, I think Petty GMS is going to be underrated. And, I mean, come on. Both Ty Dillon and Eric Jones had great cars this weekend. Ty didn't get a top 10, but I'm pretty sure he was 12th, if I remember right. And that 42 and that 43 are scary. And I could see either one of them getting a sneaky win. And now that we can see that Jones is running well, he's running better in this equipment than he ever ran with in JGR.
JGR, yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, he won 2 races at JGR, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But the only time we ever saw him dominate a race like this was when he won the Southern 500. And even then, like...
outside of that, what did he do?
But it was cool. It was cool to see Jones, Dillon, Suarez all with top 5s. Eric Almirola ran great again. Cole Custer ran great. I mean, Custer obviously had a lot of experience winning the Xfinity race, which also had a great finish. A little bit of chaos there at the end of that one with Brandon Jones. Second week in a row, by the way, that we've had a had to go to the caution light.
Replay.
Whoever is on the caution light this season for Cup and Xfinity is on it. And just killing it. So whoever's doing that, good for you.
Yeah,
deserve a raise.
But racing I thought was incredible. Last thing I'm going to say about Auto Club, Matt Kenseth should be a full-time announcer. And I have nothing else to say about that.
Him or Tony Stewart, honestly. Tony Stewart.
I really want them to just do you remember what they used to do? Kind of Joey and Blaney were in the booth with Adam Alexander for the Xfinity race.
Yeah.
But they used to just put 3 drivers up there.
Yeah.
In what was this, 2015, 2016?
And they just used to let them go at it.
Yeah, and they used to just talk. And then obviously I get that you want a recognizable guy that's done this before. Adam Alexander has done this before, and
because he can take the lead over a driver who probably doesn't have much experience in a broadcast booth. But
over on FS1 with the Truck Series, I mean, Kurt Busch and Michael Waltrip have been doing the Truck Series for years now, and I think we have a really good set of drivers that we grew up watching or are currently driving that
are going to be somewhere.
Incredible broadcasters.
Yeah. Even IndyCar. I mean, obviously you have Lee Diffie who wasn't a driver, but Lee Diffie's voice is just majestic, so it's okay.
But still.
And then adding Hinch and Townsend Bell, and even in the past having why am I blanking?
PT.
Paul Tracy.
Oh yeah, Paul Tracy.
Don't know why I was blanking. But just I've noticed we're finding out who all the charismatic drivers are from the drivers that we grew up watching, and it's really cool to kind of see the changing of the guard a little bit.
Yeah, and it's going to be cool because these next 2 weeks we have Danica Patrick that's going to be in the booth with Clint Boyer and Mike Joy. And if you remember back in the Superstar Racing experience, Danica Patrick did 3 races. Yeah, she commentated 3 races. Hinch did the other 3, and she did a very good job. And the whole reason that Hinch probably got that job is because of his great feedback he got from SRX, and Danica got great feedback too. So
it'll be interesting to see.
Now they won't have as much to talk about with Danica Patrick, besides the fact of hey, this is Las Vegas. Remember when you crashed here? And it'll be like,
Oh, I'm
joking.
dead.
But like
I'm
with like Tony
dead.
Stewart, they were like, oh, 3-time champion and won everything but this race, Tony Stewart. And then like with Matt Kenseth, they were like 2-time Daytona 500 champion. He won at Auto Club 3 times in his career. 2003 Cup champion Matt Kenseth. What are they going to say for Danica Patrick?
Hey,
First
she was
women,
pretty good in IndyCar. It's
Yeah,
Danica Patrick.
no, it'll be like this is the first woman to win the pole for the Daytona 500 and first woman to lead for the Daytona 500. That's it.
She almost won, but got a shoe thrown at her car.
That's true. I forgot about that one. But still, like, I mean, great. It's gonna be cool to see these drivers in the booth, and I like what Fox is doing. I mean, obviously, you couldn't get a third guy signed on full time, and this is their excuse for that. But
I like it. I like they're
I
rotating
like it too.
I like the rotating it because
I do think
it
it's really
makes
cool.
because different people bring different perspectives on things, so you get to hear
Right.
different perspectives from each of these guest commentators that are coming on. Like I'm pretty sure Tony Stewart had like a very energetic view when Matt Kenseth had a more laid back, realistic view of what was happening. And then I'm not sure what Danica Patrick's gonna bring yet because we haven't watched her in the NASCAR booth yet. I mean, we've seen her in the SRX or whatever, but like I'm just talking about NASCAR specifically right now. But yeah. So
I mean, she also had experience because she was in the Indy 500 too.
I was about to say, yeah, she did the
right.
500.
She
I remember
she
that.
did the 500 with Jimmy Johnson. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's really cool to see these guys in the booth
And girls.
guys and girls. All right, and it's gonna be dope. All right, so overall, Auto Club, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. I would have given it a 10 out of 10, but I kind of didn't really want a Larson win this weekend. But
Fair.
yeah, 9 out of 10. What do you think, Jay?
I give it a 8.6 only because they need to mess with the cars or something to fix the flat tire problem.
Flat tire.
Because the cautions just prolonged the race so much that like I started like the racing was great, don't get me wrong, but the cautions prolonged so much I kind of lost interest after a little bit. So, but I still give like just on pure racing, and I did tweet this. I also loved that everybody is arguing about something other than the racing. So, but yeah. So
We didn't even talk about the biggest thing. I just realized that.
Yeah,
We didn't even talk
I
about
was
the biggest
wondering what happened.
Daniel, you do your review, and then we'll talk about Chase versus Larson really quick.
But yeah, that's all I
Okay.
gotta say. Go ahead, Daniel.
So I wasn't able to watch the full race, so I can't like grade the full thing. But for me, like I would say it was probably about like a 8.5. It was pretty good, like from the parts that I watched, but also like during the end that I watched, there was a lot that happened, which ups the entertainment value a little bit, but also with all the cautions and stuff, like obviously that's gonna slow the pace a little bit. So I don't think it's fair for me to like give it a full rating, but from the bit that I watched, I would say it was probably 8.5.
Yeah. So let's talk about 10 to go.
Oh,
So with 10 to go, around maybe 15, 10 to go, there are 3 Hendrick cars in the top 5. Chase Elliott was leading for part of it. Bowman would lead for part of it. Larson would lead. Jones was up there. Suarez was up there. And they were all kind of like trading for the lead.
yeah.
And Larson is leading, and Chase gets a really good run on the high lane. And Larson does a late block and slams his teammate into the wall. You can't tell me that. Like, I mean, obviously, like Larson said he didn't see him. His spotter said it was all on him. But, I mean, come on, it's a teammate.
I watched the clip, okay? I watched a clip of the spotter. So, like, I can't remember. It might have been NASCAR or someone that put the exact audio over the racing, like, footage from the TV broadcast. The spotter says, Kyle Larson spotter, let me say that. He says outside as Chase Elliott is coming towards the outside. He says it before Chase Elliott gets there. And I'm telling you, because I know, like, I'm not a professional racing driver, but, like, racing online and racing, like, with my friends on GTA and stuff, and I know you can't compare the two, but This is all right. Listen to my point. Listen to I swear. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, I swear. Hear me out. Okay. When you have like a big run like that, people under anticipate how fast you're coming, especially having to look through a rearview mirror. And I mean, I guess he has a spotter, but all the spotter's saying is coming outside, or whatever. So I feel like there might have been some misjudgment watching it back and trying to be less emotional about it, because I was very, very peeved off when it first happened. I was very mad. I'm not a Chase Elliott fan by any means, but I didn't appreciate the way that happened. But I feel like it was just a very bad. He very badly anticipated the run Chase got and moved up. But I mean, I also seen people talking about how it could have been Kyle also swinging out wide for the corner, because they were kind of like 2 lanes down, and because he was trying to side draft Joey, so I think he was trying to come in and make the turn wider so he could have a better run. But I don't know. That's up to that's all in Kyle Larson. So, but no, I don't know. So, I don't know.
It is what it is. I mean, it's a racing thing, but in the past, Chase Elliott has let Kyle Larson by quite a lot, including letting blocking for Larson at Bristol last season. I mean, come on. It's a teammate, and I'm sure Daniel is going to agree with me. You don't do that. Yeah. And whether it's IndyCar in F1 where you get penalties for that kind of stuff.
At least with 20 to go, you don't do that. Like
for real.
So I was
and it ruined Chase's day. And I'm not a Chase fan. I'm not a Chase or a Larson fan. Yeah. Like I like all the drivers. Like you just don't do that. And especially if it's a teammate. And
like with Cindric, because like people sorry to interrupt you, but like people compared it to Cindric and Blaney, and I was like, you also got to remember that's the last lap of the Daytona 500. Are you not gonna block anybody coming at you on the like coming to the line of the Daytona 500? Like Blaney was a good teammate.
Cindric would have blocked his grandma to win that race.
Honestly, like literally like spun her out and anything he could have done to win, like, because I would have done the same if I was. Because
it's the Daytona 500.
Yeah,
right.
So those not two,
not a 200 lap race at Fontana.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, like
that's not a comparable situation there. But like 20 laps to go, you don't block your teammate into the wall, regardless if it was intentional or not. You've got to know. Like Kyle Larson has to know. And I'm not excusing Chase Elliott's past, because Chase Elliott does have some questionable moments he's had in the past with blocking. But, yeah. So, what is your piece, Daniel?
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of on the same boat as both of you. Like, I thought it was a little unnecessary. Like, I understand kind of, like, under-anticipating how fast Chase would be going if he's, like, coming up on your side. So, like, I kind of understand that. But at the same time, like, it's not the last lap. There's really no need to have as aggressive of a block as it was. I just think it was a little unnecessary. I kind of understand it, but at the same time, just felt like a little bit much.
Yeah.
But I did think the follow up was kind of funny. I'm not even gonna lie.
Twitter was an interesting place.
Oh yeah,
it still is. It still is days
after
the race.
It's gonna be it until Saturday. I guarantee you. We're gonna be talking about this for a while. But all right, let's transition into. I was a little bit more than I wanted to talk about Fontana. Let's transition into St. Pete. Incredible that we have IndyCar back. Scott McLaughlin gets his first pole in the IndyCar series. Super cool for him. A lot of crashes in practice. Grosjean, Sato, Palou. I'm trying
to think of other ones.
Jack Harvey.
Yeah,
there was
Harvey
a lot of
before Palou.
A lot of cars.
I think that's all it was.
Pretty sure was that it. Still a lot of crashes in at St. Pete in practice. in the actual race itself, we only saw one major caution, and it was for David Malukas. So kind of sad, but in his first race. But otherwise, pretty clean racing overall. Scott McLaughlin dominated St. Pete, and by utter domination, I mean complete and utter domination. The only time he wasn't leading was when they were cycling through.
Yeah.
Kind of got a little controversial at the end of the race as Jimmy Johnson would not get out of the way for so that Palou could catch up. And if there was another 2 laps, Palou probably would have taken it. And but Scott McLaughlin gets his first career win in the IndyCar series. Super exciting. Really good race. Jay, talk to us about Jack Harvey. Like, you picked Jack Harvey. He struggled, man. I was expecting him to do much better, but like talk to us about Jack Harvey, man. Like, what was up with that car?
So I had him as my wild card pick to win the race, and seeing how he ran at St. Pete last year, or whatever, and in years past, I felt like he's not bad at St. Pete. So I figured this year, being with Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, and the 45, I figured he would honestly step his game up a little more and be on it. But like, it just didn't seem to click at all this weekend. But the Myers Shank cars were on it this weekend, though. I won't lie. So I don't know if it's just, I'm not trying to say Jack sucks, but I'm just saying I don't know if he doesn't have somebody around him that's helping keep him right or something, and that's basically messing him up or something, or like.
It also could have been they had to fix the car.
I mean, that too.
Right.
That too.
Did they go to a backup, or did they?
No, I think they fixed it. I think they fixed it straight up.
So the thing was, like, Harvey had like basically the same crash that Palou had. Palou had it after him. Harvey hit it more on the side and just had like part of like the
suspension,
like the front wing and like a little bit of suspension. Palou, when he made like the similar crash, basically hit it head on.
Yeah.
So like it was very similar, but I think Palou's was a little bit worse. So, but even then, like Palou qualified pretty well and ended up finishing second. So like,
and
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to say Jack Harvey's a bad driver, and granted, it is his first race with Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, and growing pains with a new team as well. So like, you got to get the chemistry all together before you start putting the performance together. But I don't know. Like, it's like,
I don't know. Christian Lundgaard's in the same equipment. Ray Hall's in the same equipment, and they both had great races.
I know.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Like, going with that logic. So, Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan in the past has been a 2-car team. Last year it was a 2-car team with a third car that ran some part-time, just a few here and there races.
So could the third car be underfunded, maybe?
And well, here's the thing. So that third car, I don't know off the top of my head if this is correct, but I believe, I could be wrong, I believe at every race they ran with that third car that the 45 got a top 10. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But at least early in the season, at least like the first half of the season that it ran, every race that it ran was a top 10. So I don't know. There's a lot of factors involved in this. It could just be that the third car is a little too much to take on in year one with the full season. Yeah. It could be that. It could be Harvey just transitioning to a new team, new strategies, new equipment. Because like Meyer Shank, even though like in the past it hasn't been as good of a team, it is still basically, in a way, an Andretti satellite team. Basically. So they get all the same data as the Andretti team. Yeah. Which, obviously, data in a series like IndyCar, where a lot of the cars are a lot closer in range of how good they are. Yeah. Data is everything. So I think like taking him out of something that he's been used to for the past few years is obviously there's going to be growing pains. I don't want to come out and just say that he's going to have a bust of a season. He could. There's a chance. He could just be a massive disappointment from what we all predicted. Because I think everyone was like, "Oh, Jack Harvey's a really underrated driver. He's going to be on this better team. I think he'll do better."
Yeah.
Uh, we're one race in. It's too early to just say that him signing to Rahal Letterman Lanigan is already a bust. It's too early to say that adding a third car to Rahal Letterman Lanigan is a bust.
Yeah.
It's just too early to call a lot of these things. But it will be something that's going to be interesting to watch throughout this season and the next season, or however long he's there. It's really going to be interesting to see how the team adjusts to having all three of those full-time cars with the new driver lineup that they have this year. So I'll be interested to see kind of what comes from that.
Okay. That's
Yep.
pretty good analysis, honestly. Like,
I mean, you got IndyCar professional Daniel Chaney over there.
man.
Come on.
I try my best. I try my best.
It was a pretty good race. Obviously, very clean. Besides the Malukas incident, super excited that the Aussie himself had a Shoey in victory lane. Was I? It was so funny. It's such a good picture. But overall, pretty decent race. Out of 10, I did get a little bored in the middle of this race. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Thought it was decent, you know. Good race. Glad we're back to IndyCar. 7.1 out of 10. What do you got, Jay?
I'd give it probably, I give it about a 7.4, honestly. I'm not gonna give it quite a 7.5 because, like, other than after the Malukas caution, like, nothing much happened up until the end of the race. And I'm not trying to say cautions mean everything, but I'm just saying that, like, there wasn't much battling, it seemed like, to me. And I get St. Pete's kind of tight or whatever anyway, but, like, it just didn't seem like there was much battling up until the end with Pillow and Mclaughlin. So, yeah, I don't know. I give it about a 7.4. So, what do you got, Daniel?
Okay, so obviously I love IndyCar, so I'm a little bit biased. I think even the boring IndyCar races are more entertaining than a boring NASCAR race,
That is
personally.
I could say that, yeah.
I would give this an 8. I didn't think it was that boring. I thought it was a pretty consistent race, and especially like for a season opener, like when you're a series like IndyCar that doesn't open with a bang, like the Daytona 500, like having just a solid race like that like that's a good grade in my book. I
Okay.
would consider this an 8. I thought like while the actual well maybe like in like the middle or like the later middle section towards the end before like the last kind of duels between the top 5, um while the racing might not have been like the most entertaining, the strategies and analysis of the strategies was really interesting to me, like
Yeah, they were pretty
um
good. I won't lie.
because obviously like it was like basically the 2 stoppers versus the 3 stoppers, and because it was a mostly clean race, like there was only one caution the entire time, like it was really unpredictable because if there was a caution within the last 15 laps, I want to say it was, Renus VK would have basically had that race on lock.
Yeah.
And even though he was in like 4th or 5th at that point, um all the commentators were just talking about like, listen, like I know you're focused on the top 3 battling right now,
But
but
look
like
back here
if
at Renus
a
VK.
caution happens right now, it's going to be between VK,
I
Herta,
remember that.
and all
That's
these
what they were
different
doing.
people.
Like that kind of reminds me of what was happening in the Xfinity race with Alfredo,
Yeah.
with his
Right.
incredible strategy and how the man's literally almost won. And if he would have just like if that red flag probably wouldn't have happened, I
He
think
probably
Alfredo
won.
would have gone to victory lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing with VK. I mean, strategy is just, especially in IndyCar. I mean, if you're on the reds or if you're on the black tires, like it's
And that whole tire thing is just it's so compelling to me. Like
it's pretty dope. And the fact that
it's
VK had so much push to pass left, like
it's so different than say NASCAR, and I'm not super big into F1, so I don't know if I assume that's different than F1.
I mean, in a way, yeah, but like you have to. So, in the race in F1, if in qualifying 2, whatever tire you set your fastest lap on,
Right.
this qualifying 2 session, whatever tire you set your fastest lap on, whether it be soft, medium, or hard, you have to run that at the start of the race. So like if you qualify in the top 10, and if you don't qualify in the top 10, you just have to run one of the two required tires, which are the medium or hards. So
Gotcha.
in a way, it's kind of similar. It's just there's 3 tires instead of 2. So
yeah, but all in all, great weekend of racing. Xfinity Cup. We didn't really talk about Xfinity, but Custer got the win. It's cool to see some of those guys run up front. It was cool to see Alfredo almost have a shot at it. But yeah, great IndyCar race, great Cup race. Overall, good weekend of racing. So, great episode of Motorsport Media. Let's go ahead and transition into some questions. We haven't done these in a while. All right, so my first question is on the Cup side. Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500. Austin Cindric is a rookie. We have seen the other 2 rookies, Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland, have solid runs until Harrison Burton gets taken out by Brad Keselowski 2 weeks in a row. Does Todd Gilliland in the 38 for front row or Harrison Burton in the 21 for the Wood Brothers have a shot at the Rookie of the Year?
no.
Can I answer this? No.
Not because they're terrible drivers. I just think Cindric has gotten enough experience in Xfinity that he can translate to Cup. Especially because, well, the cars are different. Like with the horsepower difference from Xfinity to Cup, I feel like that's going to compare more to Cindric than it will. I mean, I guess you could compare it to Harrison Burton too, but I don't feel like Harrison Burton's ride is as.
You don't think Harrison's going to go out there and win 2 races?
No.
Do you think if Cindric goes winless for the rest of the season, and in some hypothetical world, if that 21 gets in the victory lane for the first time since 2017, and that 38 wins a race, which has never happened, do you see either of them?
I want to answer this one. Do you think
2 wins at say if you win 2 races at Kansas, does that overlay that Daytona 500 win? Dan.
No. I'm sorry, but when your first win in your first race as a rookie, now first overall race, no, but at first race as a rookie, first win as a rookie, when that is the Daytona 500, I don't care unless Harrison Burton gets 4 wins, 3 or 4 wins. I do not see any contention.
Yeah.
I
honestly don't. Good.
It's unless Cindric just sucks the rest of the season.
Yeah.
If he just DNFs,
which isn't true because he had a good weekend.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Unless he just crashes out every race, like Harrison Burton has this past 2 weeks. No disrespect. It's not his fault.
Hey, Brad. Brad's been
Stop it, Brad.
Stop it, Brad.
He can't keep getting away with this. But yeah, unless one of the other rookies gets 3 or 4 wins somehow, and just Cindric just is not in contention for wins or stage wins or whatever the rest of the season, I do not see any scenario where he doesn't win Rookie of the Year. And obviously, I think everyone has pretty much predicted this since Cindric was announced to be taking over the 2.
Yeah.
Because it might have been pretty recent, but I feel like people already kind of forget Cindric was a bump and a run away from repeating championships in Xfinity.
Yeah.
And going in, if he were to have 2 Xfinity championships in a row and then go into Cup,
that momentum would have been crazy.
And especially knowing now that his first full-time Cup race, he won the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And then you go out and win the pole the next weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to take that away from Cindric. I'm sorry.
That's why I put him this season to make it to the round of the 8 in playoffs. Yeah, very bold prediction. In our playoff predictions, that I had him going to the round of 8. That was my prediction.
Type beat.
I have Ryan Blaney winning the championship though.
So do I.
But
But no one expected Ryan Blaney to make the round of 8 in 2017, and he did.
I see what you're saying now. Okay,
in
my
that
bad.
Wood
I see
Brothers
what you're
car.
saying now. Yeah, my fault. But yeah, no, like I feel like Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland, not that they're terrible drivers, but I don't see them being as consistent as Cindric. Even
And it was
even it's been only 2 races, and Harrison Burton already has technically like 2 DNFs on his record. So
he doesn't technically. He does have 2 DNFs.
I mean,
Yeah. You
And,
can't get me away with this, Brad.
that's why I said technically, but
Yeah, but I will say Todd Gilliland's been running really well in that 38 car.
no, he's
Outperforming.
run good.
He's
but-
been out.
Yeah.
He's been outperforming what Alfredo
Yeah.
did last season,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
seeing that 38 car in the top 5 in both Daytona and at Auto Club
Yeah.
is not something I expected to see. And his front row teammate Michael McDowell hasn't been doing half bad either.
Mm-mm.
So who knows? Maybe we see McDowell make it into the playoffs again. That'd be dope,
true.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
McDowell championship season, baby.
Dude, McDowell's championship season was last season when he had 3 top 10s in a row.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That was a championship for them.
All right, Daniel, what is your question that you're going to bring to the table today?
Okay, so my question is kind of a spin on something that has already been a question earlier in like preseason. So obviously, earlier in the podcast history, I asked like, who do you think is going to be the first new winner of an IndyCar race? And I believe at least one of us said Scott McLaughlin. That has happened. That is out of the picture now. He has
Yeah.
got his first win. He's kind of proven that there's a good chance he could be a contender this year.
Who's next?
Who's
So
next?
who is next to get that first win?
I know that we talked about him earlier, and we didn't really have great things to say about him. Has Jack Harvey won a race yet?
No.
No.
It's Jack Harvey.
That's who I want to stick with. Like, I want to say Jack Harvey myself because I have him as a wild card at IMS Road 2, like in July. But
I mean, we're also forgetting about Grosjean.
that's what I'm saying. That's what, like,
It's hard to predict.
I got Grosjean. I'm going with Grosjean. I'm going
Kirkwood,
Grosjean.
Lucas, any of these guys can go out there and just have a good car
Yeah.
and a good weekend.
Mm.
And it's hard because the last time we saw a first-time winner in the first week of the season, they won the championship. Oh, wait, that was last season.
Yeah.
Dude, like literally, like back-to-back
Honestly.
seasons, we've seen the first-time winner win the first race of the season. But yeah, I think Jack Harvey's going to be the next one. I think he might get it done in an oval.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I could see him winning at Iowa.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I got Grosjean just within any part of the season. Even if like the next new winner doesn't come into the last race. I just got Grosjean. So that's what I'm gonna go with. What about you?
Okay, so
Daniel.
I'm gonna give mine. So it's not in any of my like official predictions that I made, but I really want it to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's not Jimmy Johnson.
This man
but-
is a
but-
comedian.
Similar
Hey, I will say this, defending this. We haven't seen Jimmy Johnson at an oval yet. Continue.
similar reasoning. Oval. There are several ovals this season. There's a doubleheader at Iowa. There's the Indy 500. There's Texas. I am going with Connor Daly. Finally full-time in the 20 car. He
Honestly,
gets to run the ovals in Ed Carpenter racing equipment as opposed to just the 500 in Ed Carpenter equipment.
Yeah.
Because obviously last year he ran the ovals for Carlin Racing, which was not a super competitive team.
Mm.
I think this might be the year Connor gets a win.
I could see it. I could see it.
It's not in my predictions.
I could see it maybe taking it home at like in Iowa, maybe at Texas.
I could see it in the
Speedway.
500. I could see it in the 500.
Oh, yeah.
especially after last year.
Yeah.
He had
In the
Carlin.
Carlin equipment.
I'm gonna
too.
be
He
honest.
Took the lead
It
in the
should have
500.
been last year at the 500. If Ray Hall's tire didn't pop off and get punted off his car, he was the car to beat.
Definitely. Him or Ray Hall, actually. Because Ray Hall, with that strategy in the pit, like
Mhm.
that.
Was Daly in Carlin equipment at the 500, or was he in?
No, he was in a third. He was in a third
Yeah.
ECR car,
Yeah,
but it was the only race that there were 3 ECR cars.
that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Wonder what that's like.
It's similar to like how Ed Carpenter is gonna run a third car for the 500, and I think they said he was going to do Texas, or maybe it was one of the Iowa.
Yeah, he's doing
he's gonna do he's gonna do one other oval for sure.
I only
They
know
haven't
that 'cause
announced
I have
what
my
number it
sources.
was, but it is a third car like they have done.
I think it's going to be
with
the
a
O2.
company.
I think they said it was going to be the O2, if I remember right.
Nice.
I don't
didn't
know if
that.
they've for sure announced, but
If I remember,
I could be wrong.
right. I don't know. Well, you never know. I mean, you could see maybe run like the 22. Even though that's a Penske number, you could never
Yeah.
But I think they said they were going to run the O2.
I would see the O2 just because he was 20.
Who knows?
for a
Maybe they
bit.
bring back the 47. You never know.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be like the most likely in my opinion, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Guess we'll see. But yeah. All right, Jay, your question you're bringing to the table today.
All right, so this is more focused on us and our podcast. So we've had David Malukas on the show. We have a few things lined up in the future potentially that we're gonna get on the show. Who is your guys' dream interviewee guest that you would like on the show? Then Tristan, you go first.
Oh, I mean, I met my hero of racing when I was a kid, and I feel like I everyone knows I'm gonna say Casey Kane, but I won't say Casey Kane this time. I'm gonna say Elio Castroneves.
Okay.
I think Elio Castroneves would be a fun interview.
That would
Maybe
be.
someone like a
Yeah.
I feel like he'd have a good time, and I feel like that'd be a fun driver. But if we're talking more like younger drivers, Tyler Reddick would be cool to have
I
on.
would love to have Tyler Reddick. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be cool to see some of those guys maybe on. I'd love to see actually dream, if we're talking dream, this would never happen. Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
that
You
would be
get
dope
you
as
get one
hell.
from each series. I would go Lewis Hamilton, Tyler Reddick, and Elio Castroneves. How about that?
Okay. I can see that. What about you, Daniel? Who's your dream
Okay.
guest
Um,
on the show?
So, okay, so like, part of me wants to go like, not necessarily like a realistic one, but like one that like realistic, like, and then another one is just like just any driver ever, like I could say any
Yeah.
driver ever.
Just your
Sure.
dream driver. It doesn't have
Mario
to be.
Andretti.
Okay.
I like. Oh, we're gonna pick one from each motorsport.
You can do
F1,
that
Mario
too.
Andretti. NASCAR, Mario
Mario
Andretti.
Andretti.
IndyCar, Mario Andretti.
He said he did them all.
Sports car, Mario Andretti.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. Like, he's the GOAT. There's nothing else to say
Yeah.
about that.
Check out who
Um,
our Go Picks are in episode 4
but-
of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, self-promo. Totally thought about that.
Definitely.
But then my other pick, my favorite driver of all time, James Hinchcliffe. I know it's a kind of like whenever people like ask like you like, oh, who's your favorite driver of all time? Obviously they're not going to expect me to say James Hinchcliffe, but that is my childhood hero right there. Love that man.
Mhm.
I've met him once, twice. But I was really young, so I think it'd just be really cool to talk to him like now that I'm older and like being able to like hear more of his experiences since he's kind of like retiring out of the full-time IndyCar world, but also like kind of getting to share like some of my stories just about how like just how much he meant to me like growing up, getting into racing. So
No, I feel
those are my kind of picks. Jay, how about you?
All right. So my dream pick would have to be my favorite driver of all time, Dale Jr. So now if I had to pick from each series, I would love from F1. I'm not going to say Sergio Perez, even though that is my favorite F1 driver. I would love, it's very unrealistic, don't get me wrong. I would love to get Michael Schumacher on the show. Then in NASCAR, I would love to get Dale Jr. of course, but like as a younger driver, I would love to have Blaney or Bubba on the show. And then
For sure.
for IndyCar, Scott McLaughlin easily. I feel
Dude.
like that man is just so cool. I would love to have him on the show.
I mean,
Like,
me and
so
Dan,
nice.
me and Dan met him during Fast 9 last.
yeah, I know. And I'm
season.
so jealous because I was there and I did not see him.
Dude, literally, like,
Yeah,
just
like-
came up and we talked for like 5-10 minutes just
Yeah.
about like about how excited he is to be in IndyCar, and that was
Yeah, I
before
mean, like,
he was doing great, and now
Yeah.
he's
to talk about this like on the podcast. So, um,
Oh, sorry.
obviously, like,
Another person I would love to
yeah,
have.
you're good. You're good.
Sorry. For NASCAR, younger driver Corey LaJoy too.
Oh yeah.
But
That's
sorry,
a
go
good
ahead,
pick.
Daniel.
Yeah. So what I will say for the podcast, last year during one of the 500 practices, me and Tristan got the chance to talk to Scott McLaughlin a little bit. When I say he is one of the nicest guys in the IndyCar paddock, like that is an understatement. One of the nicest dudes I've ever talked to.
I want to meet him so
We
bad, bro.
like there were a lot of people like trying to get autographs from him. Me and Tristan were kind of off to the side. And we waited a little bit. Like we didn't want to like get in the way of like some people that were like wearing his merch and like were
Like
possibly like super fans of his. Like yeah, like I didn't want to get in the way of that. Like I really like Scott McLaughlin, but I wasn't wearing like his merch and stuff. So like I'm not gonna get in the way.
You've
Yeah,
heard
I
a
feel
second.
Hey, calm down. Calm down. But he then like had to go talk to someone on his crew. I don't know if it was his engineer or like his crew chief. He was talking to someone on his crew and he kept like looking back at us and like 5 or 10 minutes passed. We're still kind of standing there. He comes back over to us. He was like, "Hey, I saw you guys like waiting and I didn't get a chance to like talk to you. So like I want to make up for that since you guys were like patient." And he took pictures with us, like signed Tristan's hat, like and he just talked to us for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just nicest guy. Like he was just really grateful for the opportunity to be there. He was grateful for the fact that people knew who he was. He was like, I had no idea people were gonna know who I am
Mhm.
since I'm like not big around here. And just like he deserved to get that win.
Yeah.
Like
He deserved it.
it
was
there's
coming.
very
It
there's
was
very little
coming.
drivers that are more deserving than someone like Scott McLaughlin
Yeah.
to get their first win.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, Scotty M would be a dream to have on the show, but I'm going to
Honestly.
be with you too, Daniel. It'd be really cool to see you get to interview James Hinchcliffe. Who
Oh,
knows?
yeah.
Maybe we'll have James Hinchcliffe on in the show soon. Wink, wink. You never know.
Hopefully.
It'd be cool to see if we could get that to happen. Just a little teaser, but yeah, let's go ahead and transition real quick. This episode's going to be a little bit long. Let's transition into our predictions. Quick predictions. 3 NASCAR races this season. We're going to Vegas. 3 races. Trucks, Xfinity, Cup. 1 pick for Trucks and Xfinity. 2 picks for Cup. Trucks, Zane Smith gets a repeat. The Zane Smith Redemption Tour starts now. Zane Smith is going to go back-to-back. I think he takes Vegas. Xfinity, I'm going to go with Sheldon Creed. I think Sheldon just, gets it done. RCR has been pretty solid this season. They had a little bit of an off week last week just because of problems with Hill and Creed. They didn't run extremely well. But I think Creed gets it done. Cup, it's Vegas, so you got to go with at least one Busch brother. I'm going with Kurt. I'm going Kurt Busch. And then other pick, Kyle Larson, just because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jay, who you got?
So in trucks, I guess I'm gonna go with John Hunter Nemechek. Just for the simple fact that he's John Hunter Nemechek, and yeah. But then in Xfinity, I'll probably agree with you on Sheldon Creed and Xfinity because RCR, it seems like they've been performing very well this season so far. Even if I wanted to throw a wild card, actually, no, I'll be a little different. My actual pick will be Anthony Alfredo this weekend.
Ooh.
That's who I'm going to go with. That'll be my actual pick this weekend.
So Creed and Alfredo for you?
Yeah.
All
And then my 2 Cup picks, I'm looking at my preseason picks right now. I'm going to go with my first pick and my wild card pick. I'm going Denny Hamlin as my first pick, and then wild card, let's throw Tyler Reddick in there. Those are my 2 picks.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Dan, who do you got?
Okay, so truck series. Let's see. It's kind of a basic pick, but also I don't think any of us have picked him for any of the races so far, but I'm gonna pick Matt Crafton.
Good pick.
Interesting.
Good veteran. we haven't picked him.
Yeah.
We haven't picked
okay.
him.
Okay.
Time champion.
Oh yeah. No biggie, And then Xfinity. This is kind of a weird pick, but he's he hasn't been. He's exceeded my expectations in the past 2 races. I'm going Riley Herbst.
He's from Las Vegas. I will say. That's a bold pick. That's bold.
It's really bold. It's really bold. I'm not the most confident in it, but screw it. I'm picking Riley Herbst.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
All right.
I don't know. That could completely bite me in the butt. But he hasn't been that bad this season.
He hasn't.
I thought he was gonna. I don't know. I don't really know. My
was gonna be
my
Taylor
expectations for him
Herbst.
this season were pretty low, because he had like a disappointing last season.
And
But
he
obviously
he
Stuart
hasn't
Haas
ran
was
bad.
had a
He's had a disappointing career, buddy.
yeah, but Stuart Haas was just bad last year, so like we don't know if all of it was just on him.
Yeah.
So I'm going Riley Herbst in Xfinity,
Okay.
and then for Cup, my 2 picks. Let's see. Do I want to go? Yeah, I'm just gonna go my first and second. I'm not gonna go a wild card pick. First pick, Ryan Blaney. Second pick, Kevin Harvick. Simple picks. They've been pretty solid. Forwards have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my picks.
been
Damn,
a
you're
good
right. The Fords
been a
have
good-
been really good.
Been a good season. I don't know. I just feel like Toyota's gonna have a good Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, again, can't count out Busch Brothers at Vegas, and you can't count out the defending champion there, as he's
Right.
won literally both races at Vegas last season. So, yeah, so great episode of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. You guys can check us out on all podcast network. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Google Podcasts. Check us out on the YouTube channel. Subscribe down below. Then also check us out on the MarionPhoenix.com. Shout out to them for giving us all this great feedback and for putting us on their website. So super cool for them. Yeah, follow us on Twitter at Indy Boys Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, same handle at Indy Boys Podcast. Follow us all at our personal Twitter accounts. Those are all linked in the description down below. Signing off for Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. My name is Tristan Grider. Thank you for listening to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. It's going to be a great weekend. Man, dude, what if Scott McLaughlin wins the championship? That'd be dope.
Hey,
I hope.
the past 3 seasons, I believe it was. It's at least the last 2. Past 3 seasons, I believe, the person who won the first race won the championship.
We'll see. We'll see. Signing off. Have a good one, guys. Good week. Peace. Let's go to Vegas.
Ching.
Sheesh.